5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Wow, the morning is just flying by, huh?
Yeah.
So this morning we had a news story, and all I can tell you is what we read, and it said that scientists had injected some kind of vaccine into the cancerous tumors of rats, and it seems to have wiped out the cancer. And I don't know if that would apply to all cancers, but two things I want to say is, one thing is I hope that there's a day when we can turn on this microphone here and say, guess what? Cancer has been cured. All cancer gone forever. Mm-hmm. And that'll be a good day. And of course, I'm sure somebody else will announce it before we ever get to. But it'll be a great day. In the meantime, though, in the course of time that I've been alive anyway, cancer has certainly changed from being a death sentence to not necessarily being a death sentence. I went through my own little stint of skin cancer on my nose. Mine was called, don't tell me, it's like a spice. What was it again? What was my
Basil.
Basil. I don't think it's spelled the same, but I had basal cell cancer, which what they said was the best kind. So, I got the best kind, which was good. Melanoma, I think, is the worst kind, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Louise Perkins is on the phone. She is the Chief Science Officer at the Melanoma Research Alliance, and she's going to talk to us about new therapeutic options that may help prevent melanoma from coming back after complete removal of the cancer and the affected lymph nodes, which I believe my mom's breast cancer had metastasized. Metastasized. Oh, I never get that word right. I almost said something that sounded really wrong in my head.
Oh, no.
So and I think she had it in her lymph nodes, right? Which is ultimately what led to her passing away. Dr. Perkins, good morning, doctor. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
Good morning.
Where are you?
I'm in New York City right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
nice.
Thank you for being on the air, and thank you for the work you do. This is, all of our lives we've known cancer as a horrible, horrible word, but every time you turn around, there's another piece of optimism coming from your field, isn't there?
There is, and I would tell you a lot of the news that's come out lately is really the real deal. There's been tremendous improvements in the way we care for cancer lately.
Did you happen to see that story I was referring to with the mice?
I did see that story, and that story basically is doing what a lot of other research is doing, which is to harness the immune system to fight off cancer. And there have been a number of treatments approved, including one as recent as in December, that does just that, to take your immune system and fight the cancer.
Wow. Now, specifically, we're talking about melanoma in this conversation, right?
That's right, specifically in melanoma.
So tell me, how has melanoma changed? I don't know if the disease is what I mean, but I mean the treatment of the disease in the past decade or so.
Sure. Well, the treatment of melanoma really has transformed. Beginning in 2011, the first new treatments for melanoma were approved. These were the first treatments approved in over a decade. And the kinds of treatments that have come along include these ones that harness the power of the immune system, so-called immuno-oncology treatments. So with immuno-oncology, the treatment's given, and it basically wakes up your immune system to fight off the cancer. Melanoma, as you mentioned, is the deadliest of the cancers. It is a cancer that's found in your pigment-producing cells in the skin, and the immunotherapies that have come along are really tremendous additions to the treatment armamentarium.
Now, my notes say the new, whatever is new, is to prevent it from coming back. Can it also be used to make it go away?
It can. The original use of this particular treatment, called nivolumab, was for treating existing cancer, and the FDA approved this drug for that use in 2014. What happened in December of last year was the approval by the FDA to use this treatment, nivolumab, to prevent the cancer from coming back after a successful surgery. So what would happen is if you were one of those patients who had a surgical resection or surgical removal of your cancer, then in the clinical trial that showed this, revealed that treatment was able to prevent the cancer from coming back at a much better rate than the comparator drug.
Wow.
I should point out that the organization I work for, which is the Melanoma Research Alliance, which funds research in melanoma and also provides educational resources, has been the beneficiary of financial support from Bristol Myers Squibb for both of those missions. But nonetheless, data and the approval by the FDA is really significant and a great addition for patients.
Now, when people have the surgery, and if the melanoma comes back, does it come back in the same place or a different place?
It actually can be both. It can come back either as a new melanoma, or it could come back as a recurrence in that spot. It could also come back at a distant site in the body, and that would be that metastatic disease that you were talking about. And the good news about nivolumab and other PD-1 drugs is that they appear to work throughout the body and treat melanoma. Well, it's actually stimulating the immune system, which is treating the melanoma throughout your body.
So people don't know they have this unless they're examined by a doctor, or are there some kind of symptoms?
So when you're people who turn up in the doctor's office with melanoma may have a mold that started changing. It's evolving, gotten larger. It's got multiple colors in it. The edges are a little bit raggedy. It may be bleeding. These are all the symptoms of melanoma that are really warning signs that mean you should get to the dermatologist right away and have that examined. But in the case of a recurrent cancer, the patient is probably being followed by their doctor because they've already been treated for an advanced melanoma.
Wow. Okay. The cancer I had on my nose, after the doctor cut it out, and by the way, I could breathe so well when he opened up my nose. The air went in so quick. I never knew how much the nose actually stops air from coming in. But anyway, I had to wait because they had to be sure that it hadn't spread. And it had it spread, then I would have had to gone back in and they would have had to cut my face some more, which I was so scared at that point because I thought, oh my gosh, what? Because there was a guy sitting in there that had a bandage all over his face.
Yeah.
So he must have had that. But it was the first time I really understood why cancer is the crab, that whole, I never understood the whole extending of like the cancer into like legs or arms until that moment.
Yeah, you can relate to how scary it is to get this kind of cancer diagnosis, right? And I don't know, when you were diagnosed, did you go out and seek additional information about the disease?
I don't think so. I don't even remember. Has it been 10 years already?
I think so,
It might be 10 years already, yeah. And I do a radio show, and you know what? We've had a lot of doctors. So to say I did not seek out information may not be exactly accurate because I'm sure we had doctors on that I asked about it.
Well, some people are like you, and they're happy to hear everything they hear in the doctor's office, but some people are indeed interested in additional information.
Okay.
And so that's just a choice that different people make.
And should we come armed with this to our doctor, the Opdivo name, or do they tell you that? Do the other doctors know this?
I think a lot of doctors are familiar with this in the oncology area because it's a drug that's gaining use in a number of other cancer indications. And patients who are diagnosed with melanoma or other cancers or their caregivers might be interested in seeking out additional information. If it's melanoma that you're interested in learning about, they may want to check out our website at curemelanoma.org, where there's a lot of information of people.
And does the sun have an effect on? I was told. I mean, we live in Florida, so obviously people come here for sun. If you live here, it's probably we don't go out in the sun any more than you probably do in New York. But I think people who visit here do a lot of sun things.
Yes, definitely. And in fact, sun is a major risk factor for melanoma. So it's very important to wear sunscreen, to stay in the shade, especially if you have a fair complexion. Enjoy the sun, just enjoy it safely.
Yeah.
Can you get melanoma from tanning booths?
And yes, you can.
Oh.
So
Oh my God.
a lot of that information you can find, the educational information on both prevention and treatment on the web.
Can I tell you something kind of trivial? And maybe you know this already. Have you ever seen the black spot on the ceiling in Grand Central Station by the Crab?
I have not, but I'll look for it.
Okay, but do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but it seems that we're out of time on my end.
Damn.
Darn.
All right, you would have loved this story. I'll tell you real quickly. The ceiling used to be black, and they cleaned it off, and they found all the constellations, and they did not know it was there. It was black from cigarette smoke. So they kept a little patch of it to remind people not to smoke.
I'll look for it today as I'm passing through.
Yeah, ask the lady in the information booth. She'll point it right out to you. Where's the patch of black that they left? Thank you, doctor. All right, we'll be right back.
Saturday, February 17th. Come out to the Circle Square Cultural Center from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. as On Top of the World Communities presents the annual Home Improvement Expo. Representatives from every field of the home improvement industry will be on hand to display their services and answer questions about the latest trends in home designs and remodeling. This free event is sponsored by On Top of the World Communities, 8395 Southwest 80th Street, Ocala. For more information, go to csculturalcenter.com. That's csculturalcenter.com.
Here is your 30-second news brief. A federal judge has ruled that Florida has violated constitutional rights by permanently revoking a convicted felon's right to vote after having served their sentence. A 70-year-old woman struck by a golf cart while taking a walk in the Villages last month has died. Federal authorities have fined an Orlando-based resort company that changed payroll records to avoid paying overtime. And actor Jeff Goldblum will be coming to MegaCon in Orlando in May. And that is your news brief from The Source.
Come to the 5th Annual Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival on March 3rd, 2018 at the McPherson Government Complex. The festival goal is not only to have vendors, food, a car show, a kids zone, wag, wiggle, and walk, live entertainment on the main stage, a down-home pie eating contest, and all things strawberry, but to also raise funds to build a habitat home for a family in our community. Check out their website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 3rd from 8 to 6 p.m. Come early and enjoy the day.
Langley Health Services, located at 7205 Southeast Maricamp Road in Ocala, is a federally qualified health center offering family practice, pediatrics, podiatry, dental, behavioral health, and radiology services. Call 352-680-7000 for an appointment today. Most insurance accepted, sliding scale for those who qualify. Langley Health Services. Call today, 352-680-7000.
Life South encourages you to share the love this winter by sharing life through blood donation. The winter season is always a difficult time to collect enough blood to keep local hospitals stocked. So embrace the giving spirit and give the greatest gift of all this year. Give life. Your blood donation could help save as many as 3 patients at your local hospitals. Visit lifesouth.org for more information and locations. Share the love. Share life. Give blood.